How y'all doing this evening, this late night? It's Central Time in Dallas, Texas at 10:47. I'm just trying to, see what's up, see how y'all doing. I just, love y'all and I just want to do a podcast for y'all. So I'm ready. And we can get this started. You know how I do, like to plug people in. And do what I do. So I'm always down for that. And just plugging people in. Always. Try, and then we're gonna get this started like I always do with the music, with the vibe. And okay, I bet y'all saying like y'all always say he love y'all every time we get on her beginning, but it's true though. Trust me, man. I wouldn't do it. If it wasn't for it wasn't for the great ones. So, and the great ones are y'all. It just wouldn't be it wouldn't be the same without y'all. So, this is me. This is y'all. This is Jason Morgan Show. Let's get this started.
It's a t-shirt with nice colors.
Yeah, they make you turn it inside out.
No man gave me this shirt.
The hood spokesman, I speak for the hood. Young and old press, this is what I do now, so I take this serious. If you've been following my career for a while, I don't scream as much. Fake nigga lie to a real nigga. That's just some shit that you don't do. Trapping ain't dead.
I'm over here touching stuff, y'all. Rest of AV. Definition.
It's a t-shirt with nice colors.
Yeah, they make you turn it inside out.
No man gave me this shirt.
The hood spokesman, I speak for the hood. Young and old press, this is what I do now, so I take this serious. These niggas just scared. I tell it how it is, not how it might be. Straight from the heart. That's why they don't like me. The underdog, hey, the underdog, hey, the underdog, hey, the underdog, hey. Me crossing over, no, they ain't like me. Never bite my tongue, that's why they don't like me. The underdog, hey, the underdog, hey, the underdog, hey, the underdog.
The cartel.
Take king, y'all know I ain't lying. Had the whole motherfucking world trapping a dime. Then I made the dope boys go crazy. Guess they ain't understand me, cause then they try to ban me. Mixtape king, y'all know I ain't lying. Had the whole motherfucking world trapping a dime. Then I made the dope boys go crazy. They ain't understand me, cause then they try to got now. Mixtape king, y'all know I ain't lying. Had the whole motherfucking world trapping a dime. Then I made the dope boys go crazy. Guess they ain't understand me, cause then they try to ban me. So, but I can't change that. What's done is done. Look, I can't explain that. Real street nigga, don't knock it till you try it. Time to re-up, can't sell it till you buy it.
Nope.
Nothing against BT, but somebody hate. Y'all can explain to the street why I ain't getting on my name. I'm in the NYC, get my summer jam on. But I ain't see the nominees, so I'm guessing they was home. I tell it how it is.
Not how it might be, straight from the heart. That's why they don't like me.
The underdog, hey, the underdog, hey, the underdog, hey, the underdog, hey. Me crossing over, no, they ain't like me. Never bite my tongue, that's why they don't like me. The underdog, hey, the underdog, hey, you already know what it is.
The cartel, nigga, meet your connect.
Want a nigga in, so they lock the door and take no for an answer, so I knock some more. Then I kick that bitch down, knocked it off the hinges. You see me on stage, catalog is endless. Ain't much to think about. Punchlines simple, but it's straight from the heart. Goddamn me hard. The real niggas love it, the haters can't stand. I can pack in the club on the motherfucking planet. The last dragon, the eye of the tiger. I got this rap shit in the Cobra clutch. And CTE ain't nothing fucking with us. About to bring the streets back to how real it's that. I tell it how it is, not how it might be. Straight from the heart. That's why they don't like me. The underdog, hey, the underdog, hey, the underdog, hey, the underdog, hey. Me crossing over, no, they ain't likely. Never bite my tongue. That's why they don't like me. The underdog, hey, the underdog, hey, the underdog. Thug Motivation 103 on the way, nigga. In the flesh, the man, not the myth. He's no saint, but he speaks like a prophet. Speaking of profit, how much we making? Uncle Sam won't his, how much he taking? Either way, the words of the birds. I ain't tripping, little daddy, I'm just trying to be heard. You wouldn't understand, so just leave it alone. Somebody tell me the definition of wrong. Back against the wall, I was forced to grind. Money came so fast, I was forced to shine. Then I stepped in the booth and gave him the trap. And just like the song, the rest was
Cartel, meet you connect.
how it is, not how it might be. Straight from the heart, that's why they don't like me. The underdog, hey, the underdog, hey, the underdog, hey, the underdog, hey. Me crossing over, no, they ain't likely. Never bite my tongue, that's why they don't like me. The underdog, hey, the underdog, hey, the underdog, hey, the underdog, hey. Fake nigga lie to a real nigga. That's just some shit that you don't do. I'ma say rap to a real nigga.
So how y'all doing? How y'all doing? This is the Just Morgan Show. I love y'all. We are back. We got topics today. We got late night topics where we are talking depression. We are talking Mark 2.5 relationship status. Ha ha. And we also talking about the our idle mind is the devil's playground. I'm telling you, it's the truth. So we're all finna get this thing started. And hey, we're just gonna talk about it. We're gonna live it. We're gonna cry. We're gonna think about it. We're gonna push through it. We're gonna make it happen. That's what we do on the Real Talk Jake Talk Show. You know it. So, with that being said, I'm calling y'all wonderful, wonderful co-hosts. Mark 2.5.
What's going on, my brother?
What's going on? How you doing, man? How you doing?
Oh, here enjoying this Wednesday night.
Me too. I'm in my backyard.
Same.
In my backyard, you know. Got the mosquito repellent things going in the backyard, so a little light in here. So I'm doing my thing.
Is it like one of those like lights or something like that?
Nah, it's like a candle.
Okay, that's
Mhm.
just like an off candle or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up.
You know.
Well, are we live on the?
We are live. You are live.
We are live.
When I call you,
Well,
we're live.
Thank everybody out there for tuning in tonight. It's gonna be a beautiful show as always with me and my brother from another mother,
Mhm.
Morgan. This is the co-host, Mark 2.5, and we welcome y'all. And if y'all would like to be a part of our podcast, feel free to comment, feel free to text the number, call, any questions, any topics. You could remain anonymous or whatever you'd like. We're here for y'all. And as always, we appreciate all of y'all listening and tuning in. Because without y'all, there is no us.
Right on.
So, what's on your mind, brother?
Man, I had I put 3 topics down, and
Okay.
I put 3 topics down that I in the description that so we're gonna talk about. not in particular order, but depression,
Okay. Depression.
depression, Mark 2.5 relationship status.
Oh, we're gonna tie that into depression because
That's fine.
it's right there with depression.
That's right.
I'll just say.
You're right. And
Okay.
we're talking, and we're also talking about I don't mind is the devil's playground. Can be the devil's playground.
Oh, yes, yes. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, which one are you feeling like starting off with?
You run the show, buddy. You run the show. You run the show.
Okay. Well,
It's
since
your
I'm
show.
in charge,
Like always.
let us start out. It wouldn't be right if we didn't start out with, because I know our listeners, they tune in weekly, and it's about that time, Crackhead Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So, what you got? What's going on in the news? What you got? Any crackhead stories? Any incidents? Anything that happened to you recently with some crackhead behavior?
Just man, man. Yeah, just a wreck.
It was Wednesday.
Yeah, I did.
That's why I'm a great co-host, because I got you.
Right on.
Crackhead.
Right on. So that's a real crackhead because you know a real crackhead because it's like so Keon ended up like he ended up calling Keon. You know what I mean? That is the less of the shame. You know what I mean? Like you know what I'm saying? That makes sense. It's like
Okay.
it's like your brother did something shameful to like just say like to like your mother. He not gonna call. He probably not gonna call you first. He probably call like your sister, like that person that they know that it ain't gonna be. And then
He's trying to go around you.
exactly to work, to around you to work your way up. You know people do that. You know people shame do that. People who constant shame. You know.
And this person is remaining anonymous, correct?
Nah.
Okay, so
I'm putting the dope thing. I'm putting the dope thing. I'm putting the dope thing. Aaron Nathan on blast.
okay.
Straight dope thing. When you rob, you know what I'm saying. When you rob somebody's car and her son furniture at the same damn time, man, you get your name called out.
That's true. And sometimes people need to be shamed into changing their behavior.
Man, so I'm trying to tell you, I've done it. My grandma has shamed me so many times. My goddamn life. I'm like, okay.
And how did Keon respond? Because I'm sure Keon felt like he was between a rock and a hard place.
Nah, Keon like, man, I know you a dope fiend. He's like, I know you. He's like, bro, you went to Jesse's house with the stolen stuff. He's like, you're a dope fiend, man. Like Keon think he just scum on the earth. And I mean, and he do stuff that it is. I mean, cause he talked to Keon talking about, man, nah, Jesse lying. I ain't steal the stuff. Classic dope fiend move.
Wow.
How you gonna say that I didn't see you? No, how you gonna say you didn't steal that woman's stuff? But I saw this. But you came to my house with the stolen goods, stopping by my house before. Really? Nah. What you really was thinking? I'm thinking that you had room. You think you had room in that truck, and you didn't see my car in the front. But you know what I'm saying? That's what it was.
Why your daughter is there and your wife is there?
Mm-hmm. Somebody was gonna make the news that night.
Man. Oh, I remember you was heated.
Yeah.
You was not playing.
Yeah. I sure threatened his life in front of my yard too. I could have. I could have took it, but that's not what we do. But
I'm glad you kept a clear head about it.
Oh yeah.
Cause I know you got better control than I do.
Yeah, I know.
I'm a hot-headed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little too impulsive, you know.
Yeah, I do know. I have seen it.
I mean, I think we talked said in the past about how if we see something going down, if it's going down to you or it's going down to me, we'll figure out later what the issue was. But
Exactly.
my job is my brother out.
Exactly, my job. Right, exactly. It's like you already know. Whatever happened, I figure out that. I figure it out later. Right. If you was wrong, I will figure it out later. You would tell me you was wrong, and then we would figure that out. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Then we figure, but we'll be good. I'm saying, you know, either way it go, we'll still be good. You know, if you're right. If you're wrong, we figure it out, and then we move on. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how I go, right? You know what I mean? Like your brothers, you move on. You know.
And I think for all the listeners out there, Jesse, my friendship with I'll say relationship with Jesse is a very special one because he's the type of friend that all of y'all listeners need somebody like Jesse in your corner because he's not an enabler, and when you fuck up, he's gonna call you out on your bullshit. He'll hold you accountable. Because trust me, he's held me accountable many times. He's let me know when I was in the wrong many times. So that's real friends right there. That's gonna go and let you know you fucked up, right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of friends who are friends but not friends are just gonna agree with everything you say.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's wrong, gonna agree with it. They're just a bunch of yes men. The real friends are not yes people. Yes men.
No, they not. No, they not. Cause you the one that they really talk to. You know what I'm saying? You the really one that when they really got something they trying to figure out, they'll talk to you. You know what I mean? Like that. You know, and then they're like, oh, okay. Well, you know what Jesse said, and it's mine, or whatever. Get me wrong. Like, well, Mark said. You know, because I know it's genuine. Because I don't want nothing. Because I'm not gaining. I'm. You know what I mean? Like I'm not. You know what I mean? I'm not benefiting. You know what I mean? I'm benefiting for you being successful and you and be doing what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? But besides that, that's all I need. Like you know what I mean? It's like that's all that matters. That if I helped and it worked, I'm cool. I'm glad it worked. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
I'm glad it wasn't in vain, and that's all the way it needs to be. And that's when you know that you have true. Because I don't want nothing. I don't want nothing from nobody. I don't need nothing. You know what I mean? Like I holler at you. You know what I'm saying? If I did, you know what I'm saying? I holler at you if I did. But it just be on. You know what I'm saying? It'll just be on whatever on that. But then it won't be. It will be never about that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because when you know what I'm saying, when you build things with people, you know what I'm saying, nobody can tear it apart except you. You know what I'm saying? Except the two individuals. And it's like, and if you know that it's real, then you just go hard all the way. You know what I'm saying? Because then you are kind of like, hey man, you know, whatever you need, brother, I got it. You know what I'm saying? I got you. You know what I'm saying? Because that's genuine. That's the difference between a yes man and somebody having love for one another.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You know, and then the people guys and girls and the people who guys and women and the people who know that, your friends know. Because trust me, they know because they see how you do your other people, your other friends, and they know. And not saying they ain't your friend, but they know that, you know what, you different. Like I fuck with you in a different way.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because the other people don't do that, don't do that. They don't got that, or they don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Something wrong with that. Because I was like, don't tell me, my friend, if you can't. You know what I'm saying? If I can't benefit in any kind of way, you just tell me that I'm full of shit. Okay, thank you. Nobody else is gonna tell me. I promise you. That's why I got you.
Thank you, brother.
That's treasure.
Now, what did we introduce our listeners to today? Because I think our listeners are starting to pay more attention to our music selection as we do these podcasts. You know, I think they're, you know, I feel like some of them are tuning in just hear our music selection. So that
Hmm.
whatever song sets the mood. You know what I mean?
I do.
How
Underdog.
do we start off our Hump Day Wednesday today?
With Young Jeezy Underdog. I tell you how it is, not how it might be. Straight from the heart.
Nice.
That's why they don't like me. Underdog. Hey,
See, you know what I gotta bring up.
go ahead, bring it. I'm loving it.
Uh, so to all our listeners out there that follow these versus battles, they've had a lot of classic ones. I think right now they're saying that probably the best one was that Snoop and DMX. That's what I've heard.
Right. True. True. I think so too.
Jada and Fabulous was good too.
Jada Favorite was awesome.
Erica Badu.
Everybody doing Jill Scott was beautiful.
That was beautiful. That was like a whole vibe, you know?
Cause I got a secret crush. Yeah,
Like a nice, laid back and chill.
yeah. Cause
And
you know what I'm saying. Plus, exclusive. You didn't know. Nobody knew. I got a secret crush on I got a secret crush. I got a secret crush on Jill Scott.
yeah,
What?
man,
She a whole lot of woman, boy.
I wouldn't mind some Badu in my life, but you know what you hear about once you go Badu, you know?
Yeah.
You know they say she turns these dudes out, and then her track record, you know.
She got three. She got three arguably top 5 artists, rap artists, arguably.
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Right? Think about it. Just saying. Arguably.
You got Drake,
Mm-hmm.
and then somebody who I think is underrated, who should be in people's top 10, who
He's
doesn't
phenomenal.
get the credit he deserves.
He's phenomenal.
Common.
Oh, he's
Now,
phenomenal.
my brother there,
Common is a goat.
and that whole what was it? The chocolate water
Mhm.
album with the light.
Yep.
Every light that shines. Yeah.
Mhm.
And some classic stuff. And then the third is electronica.
J Electronica.
Electronica.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know what they say about Badu? They say that she got the good power you. And but I love that she's from Dallas. You know,
Me too.
I love that.
You met her in person?
Really, we don't get representation in hip hop, and in my opinion, I think she's probably, arguably, the biggest success from our city ever.
Absolutely.
As far as rap.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
And honestly, it's sad because we should have a lot more for the size city that we are.
Mhm.
We got 2.5 million people. We should be producing a lot more legends and stars and stuff like that. But
Right, because we're the
people,
right, because we're the no, right, because we're the fifth, we're the fifth or sixth largest media circuit in the world. I mean, in the United States. So
we're killing everything else. Business,
yeah,
everything else is good. It's just
that music be whack though. But that music be whack though. For real though, I mean, I be listening, I be like, that shit whack. A lot of it though. Some of it.
a lot of it. But I mean, I think we've had this talk, and I think a lot of our listeners can agree. There's a lot of hate in the city.
Of course.
You know,
Absolutely.
there's not a lot of unity,
No.
and it's like crabs in a bucket. You know, everyone trying to get out. So, shout out to Erykah Badu for putting on for the city for so long now. You're talking about a good 23 years maybe.
Mhm.
So, shout out to Erykah. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, the versus battle. So, Jesse brought some attention today. What I thought was blasphemy, but
Really?
first of all, I want to know, was that something you thought of, or did you hear that somewhere?
I thought of it myself because I know music. Come on.
Oh,
Challenge.
I knew that, but I just wanted to hear you say it.
Okay, challenge. You keep.
You're the only crazy person that thinks that. But
I,
go ahead and tell them what you were proposing.
Lil Wayne versus Young Jeezy. Ugh.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow.
Amazing.
So, I was looking at some numbers today. You know that Lil Wayne passed Elvis Presley for the most Hot 100, Top 100, whatever hits.
I understand that.
He's at 104 songs that have been on the top 100, passing Elvis Presley.
I'm talking about like, but we talking about like bringing we talking about bringing out bangers. You know what I'm saying? What feel good? You know what I'm saying? I mean hits. I mean whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like we pulling out, man. Sorry.
Okay.
So what you trying to say? So we trying to say it ain't no competition?
Okay. So what are you gonna compete with when I say? Because we know that Jeezy got the Trap or Die series, right?
I mean I got all Jeezy stuff, but come on, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he got mixtapes. His mixtapes.
Is Trap or Die? Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
No. 101. What is it called?
Thug Motivation 101.
Thug Motivation. There you go. My bad. What did I say? Trap or Die? Okay. Thug Motivation. But I mean, what are we comparing it to? We're comparing it to the Carter 1 through 5. We're comparing it to the Drought series. We're comparing it to No Ceilings series. I mean,
You saying but you naming all Weezy mixtapes, but I can name a whole bunch. I can name a whole bunch of Jeezy mixtapes that I listen to. I listen to his mixtapes.
of course.
I can try 1, 2, 3. I can I can listen to I can listen to I Am the Streets. You know what I'm saying? I can listen to I can listen to This Is the World. I can listen to Snowman. Can't ban the Snowman. I mean, oh my God, some of his classics. Oh my God, like don't come on. If I gotta pull, if you want to go mistake route, I can pull some shit out.
Okay. Let me put this into perspective
Shit.
for you. Jeezy dropped in like 2005. Now, Lil Wayne dropped in like 98. So, you're talking about
Before that, but yeah, go ahead.
8 years before Jeezy.
Okay, what the dates got? What the dates got to do with the greatness?
First of all, his catalog's bigger.
Okay. A lot of people catalog bigger, but people make a lot of songs though.
I just made this solo. I didn't even include Hot Boys. I didn't even include his album that went platinum, his first one.
I know all about it.
Rocket.
I know all about it. I used to want to be a hot boy. Trust me, I know all about it.
Me too. Right, I think I showed you the pictures, but yeah, me too.
Yeah.
You know, you used to dress up, put some soldier rags on, some bandanas, some camouflage.
Oh yeah, that's why I started shit. That's why I started wearing white t-shirts. I mean, white beaters. That's why I started wearing white beaters.
Yeah, you did.
Cause the hot boys. You know what I'm saying? Hot boys made me do it. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope.
Hell yeah.
All that shit Megan's doing now, all that hot girl shit, hot girl summer, that's all, they're sons of the generation before, sons and daughters of the generation before.
Mhm.
That ain't nothing new.
Yeah.
Go back to what we was talking about. So, I see Jeezy having a solid maybe 10 to 15 hits, somewhere around there. I'll give you an example if you want to compare it to other people. I was looking at some of these hits, and like I said, somewhere between 10 and 15. He's like a Cameron. You know, he's like somebody who's fucking dope as hell. They got badass albums. You know, they got longevity. They're respected. But when it comes down to hits, sometimes it's so regional that it's hard to make it international or even national. You know what I mean? So, you know, people like Cameron, I think would be. I think he got to about 10 to 15 hits, the same way Jeezy got to 10 to 15 hits.
Nah, man, this is blasphemy, man. This is blasphemy.
I mean, honestly, if you wanted a fair fight, I would say like T.I. versus Jeezy.
Fair. Okay. Jeezy would win that, but okay. Because he'll bring out the street shit. The mixtape shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you, man. If you knew what you knew, you would know what you know. The people who out there know what they know. Tell you. That's why.
Okay, but tell me this.
That's why I play him.
So could Jeezy face Jay-Z?
No.
Okay. So how could you...
Nobody could.
How could you say Lil Wayne is a good match to go against Jay-Z, but Jeezy can't fuck with Jay-Z? That means you know Wayne can fuck with Jay-Z, but you know that Jeezy can't. Technically. Shout out to all our listeners out there. We like the bullshit, call each other out. But, no, we definitely need a... oh, did you see the interview with T.I. on Expeditiously where he interviewed Jeezy, like yesterday?
I saw. I listened to 5 minutes of it, and I was on the car.
Oh, man, bro. Badass, bro. That's where I can tell you, badass.
Don't tell me about it. I won't watch it myself. Don't tell me about it. I'm going to watch it tomorrow.
What's that?
I said I'm going to watch it tomorrow. Don't tell me about it.
Okay, got you.
Hell no. I want to soak all that in.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? So, where were we at? What were our topics today? We had 1, 2, 3. Okay. I guess let us start off with. So, what were we talking about? Depression. One of the issues.
Depression.
What are your thoughts on depression? Just when you made the list and you said depression, in what sense?
Since like depression through this pandemic, you know what I'm saying? Just hoping, just making sure everybody.
During the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So first of all, I think we can agree that a lot of people are depressed because lost their job.
Yep.
Family members getting sick.
Yep.
Losing their life in some cases.
Yep. Me. Yep.
Prayers out there for anybody who has anybody in their family that's sick.
All that happened to me.
Themselves that's listening to us.
All that happened to me. So.
Yeah. See, there you go. So y'all are not alone out there who are listening to us. Our own host Jesse Morgan has been dealing with bouts with depression due to COVID affecting loved ones near and dear to his heart. So y'all are not alone out there, and that's why we talk about this stuff. So y'all have somebody to relate to and listen to how we deal with that. So with that being said, keeping it anonymous, of course, but how did you deal with that, with a loved one, being sick or passing or whatever the deal was? How have you coped?
It's kind of hard for me. I really don't, cause I really don't cope with it. I just kind of just, huh?
Like, has it hit you yet? Has it fully hit you? Like,
yeah.
Does it still come to shock?
Yeah, nah, it hit me.
Okay.
So now it hit me, and then after that you gotta process it though, cause you can't let it hold. You can't let it just sit there, because then,
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying, then after that you gotta process it though, cause you can't let it hold. You can't let it just sit there, because then, you know what I'm saying, then after that you gotta process it though, cause you can't let it just sit there, because then, you know what I'm saying, then after that you gotta process it though, cause you can't let it just sit there, because then, you know what I'm saying, then after that you gotta process it though, cause you can't let it just sit there, because then, you know what I'm saying, then after that you gotta process it though, cause you can't let it just sit there, because then, you know what I'm saying, then after that you gotta process it though, cause you can't let it just sit there, because then, you know what I'm saying, then after that you gotta process it though, cause you can't let it just sit there, because then, you know what I'm saying, then after that you gotta process it though, cause you can't let it just sit there, because then, you know what I'm saying, then after that you gotta process it though, cause you can't let it just sit there, because then, you know what I'm saying, then after that you gotta process it though, cause you can't let it just sit there,
that's when that's when the lightning and the thunderstorm come. You know what I mean? Cause you not letting it pass. You know. So so you got to just deal with that. You know. Also, you got to understand. Like I remember. Like I haven't seen my grandmother. My grandmother 85. I haven't seen my grandmother since March. What is it? What March 28th? Because she had a stroke while I was out of town at work. She had a stroke,
Yeah.
and she's 85. I mean, and so and then she high risk because she got what I'm saying, high risk 85, and she had a stroke and stuff, and
Right.
ain't nobody can see her. Like how much anybody know this show how much I love my grandma. She instilled a lot in a lot of things that I say on this podcast today. Like I'm telling
Oh
you,
yeah.
that's how real it is.
Shout out to Grandma. Is it Grandma Morgan out
Grandma.
there?
I just Grandma Morgan. Grandma Morgan.
Shout out to Grandma
Yeah.
Morgan.
So,
Get well. We love you.
cause you just wanna touch somebody that you love so much.
And she's kind of responsible for many of the, like you said, who
Me.
we are today.
Like me. Like me, like you know what I mean? Like talking about like building. I'm talking about like she actually put bricks on the foundation of the person that I am.
The man you are today would not be the same person without her influence.
I remember. I can tell you something, Mark. I can tell you something that you will get this and you will laugh. You be like, damn, but you'll get it. And I hope that all the viewers get this too. Like my grandma told me because I was like 19. I was like 18, 19, and just got out of high school, going in and out of college, not trying to figure out what I would do. I was just kind of like just doing whatever, just being out in the streets, just doing whatever, just doing nothing really, smoking weed or just doing just whatever, not having a plan. My grandma told me, she said, "Hey, she said, Lil Jess, I'm gonna tell you. She said, Lil Jess, I'm gonna tell you. You need to get a plan. Cause what you're not gonna do is go around this world and act like you can do what you want to do. Cause the white folks got a place for you."
Man, that's science right there.
Man, I said, "Oh,
Granny dropping jewels.
yep." So that means she made me say, you go out here and be your dumb age you want to and want to steal and blah 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 and just do shit to basically do shit to go to jail. That white folks got a place for you. She said, "Trust me, they ain't gonna fool with you." She said, "I ain't fool with you because I ain't coming down there. I ain't going nowhere until church the big lots."
And that stuck with you.
And then she said, that she said, "Good day." Let me walk out of her house. She said what she said. She said that's all she needed. She told me to come over there. She said it. She was done. She said he got it. Damn right I did.
Now, would you say you were one of the closer ones to her out of all her grandchildren?
Nah, my cousin Charlene is the closest. And then
No, but I'm saying like one of them. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely. No, yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah, how my
you have
life
a
was
lot
set
of
up. No, yeah. Most definitely, because how my life was
now,
set up.
it doesn't necessarily have to be the closest.
No.
One of the closest. Like, because there's some people that don't even call to check on their grandparents. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, but it's all about the relationship too. I mean, you know what I mean? It's all about relationships. Also too.
That's true.
See, I was close to mine. Mine was in my life. Like she was in my life. Like she the one that had the plan. She had the plan. Like my parents had no plan.
Got you.
They had 2 kids and no plan. My grandma told I talked to my grandma. I told my grandma like 2 weeks ago. My grandma told no, a week ago, last week. We were just talking about like the past, whatever. She was like, I said, man, grandma, tell me the truth. My parents had no plan. She said they had no plan. She said that. She said your whole life was designed. You know what I'm saying? Like I built out that. I was like, damn. I knew that, but I just wanted to hear her say it. She said, but the part that messed up, but she said the part that used to like mess up, be like, you didn't have a plan, you didn't have a plan, but I got a plan. But when I'm doing my plan, you on the sideline telling me how to do my plan. You telling me how to do my plan. People do
Let me
that.
find out Jesse was one of them surprise babies.
Hmm. Hey man, it's
Let me
like
find out you were one of those surprise babies.
ain't nobody wanting no kid when they found out. They're like, God damn.
I mean, 'cause they had just had your brother so close earlier.
Yeah, man. We was
And then
asking.
they had you, right?
Nah, I was first, and then my brother. We I'm
Okay,
yeah,
got you.
yeah. Nah, we were accidents like a motherfucker.
Not bad.
It's okay. It
Yeah,
it's okay to live my tragic. It's okay to go back to my tragic childhood, saying that I was an accident. I know, Mark. I know I was. You don't gotta remind me and tell the
No,
people
I was trying to. No, I
it
was
hurts.
straight up gonna tell you, I was an accident baby. I mean,
Kind of obvious, Mark.
my parents, there was already 4 kids.
It's kind of obvious, Mark.
My mom, what's that?
Low key, it's kind of obvious. That's kind of obvious. Cause
Wow.
yeah,
Ouch.
yeah. I'm sorry.
You know what though? I deserve that for assuming that you were an accident baby. Okay?
Yes, you do.
I'll take that.
Gotcha.
I take that.
Gotcha.
Nah, but my mom's was like 39, so damn near 40. So they just had taken a trip. I mean, they already had 4 kids, so they had just taken a trip to Cancun, and then when they came back,
Okay, they were doing their thing. I said they were doing their thing and came back with you, huh?
about a month later, here I come, whoops, surprise,
You,
I'm here.
you the vacation baby. They were just turning up, and they came back. And they came back with you. Damn.
9 months later, they got the surprise.
Cancun never felt the same to them again. I bet.
Let me find out.
They thinking about your mother. They still they think
Mexico.
yeah. Yeah, because they on vacation they on vacation and your ass crossed their mind. Like, goddamn, can't get away.
Oh, man. They said we was good.
Mm-hmm. That was good too, right?
Hey, now we struggling with 5.
Right.
We was good with
We were 4.
good with 4.
You gotta make somebody. You gotta make.
And this was kind of ugly.
Right. He looked different. He looked different from the rest of them.
Don't agree with me?
Mm-hmm.
Hell.
I seen the baby pictures.
Oh, wow. The dog, what did they say? They had to tie a bone to me so the dog would play with me?
That too, and the cat.
Damn. Back to our subject. We was talking about depression during the pandemic and how you were dealing with it and coping with it. What would be your advice for our listeners out there that are going through it?
I would just say, man, just, besides keeping your head up, and I would say, man, if you really feel like that you need, if you really feel like you need help, and just go talk to someone, go talk to your doctor. Like, stop listening to other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't listen to that person. Be like, shit, it's all in your mind, man. Suck it up. I mean, exactly. It's all in your mind. So, yeah, go take care of it. If you feel like that you need to go, you feel like you need to go talk to somebody, go talk to somebody. And if you feel that if you feel that it's not that serious, and if you feel like that you just need something to do, or you need or you feel that you lost your purpose, find a purpose. Put task in front of you. Put task in front of you. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, I'm gonna do this 4 or 5 things today. Then tomorrow I'm gonna do these next 3 things today, and then I'm gonna chill or whatever case you want to do. Just make a make a goal for yourself. Cause that's the only thing you really lacking is a goal right now. Cause you feel like that you only have a goal, and you feel like you don't have a purpose, but you do. Look what's around you. It's a whole lot of purpose.
True.
No matter what you got, something's better than nothing.
And how do you feel? What do you say to those people out there that they want to seek help or talk to somebody, however, they're afraid of how people might look at them or the stigma that goes along with asking for help, like mental health, stuff like that? Because some people don't do it because they're afraid of how people look at them, maybe as weak or
Yep.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say to those people?
Man, you know how you be like, I don't give a fuck what people think. I'ma do it anyway. Had that same energy. Had that same energy with that, cause that is most important. Cause without, you know what I'm saying? Cause the mind makes everything else work. You know what I mean? You know, right? If you feel like that, if you feel like that's not right, if you, cause you know, if you feel that's not right, then talk about it. Talk to someone. Talk to your doctor. Talk to a counselor. Talk to a friend. I mean, if you feel like you gotta get it out, get it out. Like,
I don't think people realize that mental health is as important as physical health.
it is, man. It is, man. It feels like it's more.
It's just as important, maybe even more than physical health.
Yep.
And I feel like a lot of that depression nowadays, or people feeling a certain way, I hate to say it, but it seems like a lot of social media plays into it,
Mm-hmm.
They see things on there. They might see their friends posting, because like I think we've talked before about how people act one way on social media, but that's not really their life, or just being someone different.
Mm-hmm.
So they might see people, their friends, posting all these things, you know, new things that they bought, or trips, or just whatever it is, and they feel like they don't have anything to post. They're not going on trips. Their husbands didn't buy them designer this or that, so that makes them feel less. You know what I mean?
So they happy. So somebody's happiness is their misery.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And they constantly do it because some people constantly go towards the flame because sometimes once you get used to something, you get numb to it, you start feeling good to it, and like that's why I was telling people, I was like, man, you know what? Just try to take, what I'm saying, that's why I was saying like one of my top the last podcast I was on by myself, I was like, one of the top 5 things not to do in this pandemic is like try to cut off a little bit of social media, cut off a little bit, take a break from it,
Right.
take a break from it, take a break from it. Because it's like,
Right.
you can't spend, like, I wouldn't say that it's productive if you can spend hours on social media. That I don't think that's a productive day. And I think that will probably tie into something, right?
Right. Yeah. Now, what would you say to those people that are depressed, but the reason why they're depressed maybe is because they're in a relationship that they're not feeling valued or appreciated? What would you say to those people out there?
First,
I mean,
because I would always say, I would always say communication is key, and communication is first.
okay,
Communicate
right,
with the individual, express, really express what, what I'm saying, the desire of your, what I'm saying, of the conversation is. Make it the target. Remember, folks, it's not about how you say it. You know what I'm saying? It's not about what you say. It's about how you say it. Because you can yell, and scream up and down, but they're not hearing what you're saying. They're not hearing what you're saying. They just seeing everything else. So right, because they just watching the show and and not paying attention to words that the important message that you trying to say.
Dropping knowledge.
You know. So I also remember that. So and that is part of communication too, because you know you want to talk to someone, you don't want to talk through someone. You know. You know, so that's part of, and so if that doesn't work, then the next step is walking away. What else can you do?
Now, tell me this, because I know that depression affects everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So, tell me this, for those men out there listening, men going through depression seems to have different characteristics than women going through depression. So, men going through depression, a lot of times they feel like that's not manly to go through it,
Mm-hmm.
or they feel like they can't cry. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people are raised like men don't cry. You know.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about men allowing themselves to be emotional, and like, is it okay for men to feel these feelings and be depressed and all this stuff, or should they just man up and that's a female thing?
I feel like I'm a firm believer that ain't nobody can tell you how to feel.
Okay.
So that's one.
So each his own.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like nobody can tell you how to feel. So if you feel, so I can't. If you feeling sad, I can't tell you that you're not feeling sad. That ain't that. How do I know? And that is not my place to tell you that you're not feeling sad. If you feeling sad about something,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? That happened to you.
So and whatever. So like dealing with it, whatever. You're saying whatever works for each individual.
Yeah. But
Okay.
but put it in. You know what I'm saying? Turn it to a positive. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever works for them, but make it work in a positive energy, because you can also say you can also say like, oh, what works for you, and then that can be like, I don't know, fucking heroin, you know what I'm saying, cocaine, whatever.
Yeah.
Just put it in a positive energy, and you'll see the light.
Now. Oh, go ahead.
No, I say you put it in a positive energy. I say you see the light. I know the road is dark now. I know the road is dark now, but shit, well, you gonna see the light. I promise you. Storms don't last forever.
Now, the listeners are always asking, we want to know more about the host. We want to know more about Jesse Morgan.
No, they don't.
So I gotta ask a Jesse Morgan question for the fans, for the listeners, for our family, as we like to call them.
Okay. Go for it.
Jesse, looking back on your life, do you remember a time when you were depressed? Like, let's say your most depressed time you had ever felt in your life. Looking back, whether it was recent or all the way back, 20s, whenever. What is the time in your life that you was most depressed?
The time like 28, 29. That's when I broke up with Tanya. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. So late 20s.
Yeah, late 20. And so
And, so that breakup really hurt. Then it really
yeah.
affected you.
I mean, cause remember, I would, you know what I'm saying? Cause remember, I was sitting in the dark. Remember, I used to be in my house, just sitting in the dark.
Yeah.
And I remember that. I remember my partner Keon. He used to just pop over there and just come over there and just used to sit with her. He just used to sit with me and just used to sit on the couch and just be quiet and sit there for a couple hours.
That's wild.
You know what I'm saying? Cause he was like,
You know, that's weird. That's cool though, because I I'm looking at how I would handle it and how he handled it, and we would handle it like the exact opposite way. But the neat thing is that both ways, I'm sure, would work.
oh, oh no, he got on my ass. He got on. He got on my ass. We was in a car one day, and he saved my life. And I tell him today, and he know he saved my life. He told me, he shamed me in the car one day. We were driving back somewhere, and he was like, "Man, you are embarrassing out here." He said, "You are." He said, "You looking crazy out here." He said, "What the fuck is going on?" He said, "Used to be this type of a line type of guy." He said, "You are." He said, "Now." He said, "You are." He said, "Man, you." He said, "You like a bottom feed dude now. What's going on, man?" And he was just going off and off and on. He saved my life. And after that, man, I got my haircut that evening, the evening, and I went to the club that night, and it was game over. I was back on my shit. He saved my life. He saved my life, and I mean that literally to a cent.
Hell yeah. So
Cause I lost, cause I lost. That's why I be telling people, I'm like, man, don't be with, if you losing shit, don't be with nobody. Cause trust me, I lived it. I lived through that. I was losing shit. I'm about to lose my apartment, lose my car because I'm over here trying to help her pay her bills, and she, you know what I'm saying, she's sucking somebody, you know what I'm saying, and you know what I'm saying, she's fucking somebody else. Several people.
now tell me this:
Something.
if things had went differently, and you and Tanya were like straight, y'all was good, everything was going great, no infidelity, no nothing, like it was just you and Tanya. And do you think that would have led to something serious, like in the near future?
Nah, we was already together for like 7 years and we was engaged. I mean, come on now, it still going nowhere. So that's why I had to break it off. Like how I break it off and then I be in and then I'm depressed. I go in deep depression. Like how do I save myself? I save myself and then I'm over here and I'm over here in the ball in the corner. You know what I'm saying? About rolled up in the ball in the corner. What the fuck? I'm over here blowing her phone up. You know what I'm saying? I'm over here driving. Man, what? I'm blowing her phone up. What? I'm over here dropping buying flowers and dropping them off at her doorstep, ringing her doorbell. You know what I'm saying? Running off, running off to the car and driving off like sucker shit. Like the like sucker shit, man. I was in a zone, bro. When I was depressed, bro, I was in a zone, bro. I was doing shit that I was doing shit that I was ashamed the next man, like up and down. But hey, I lived it though. I lived it though. I used to just like drive by her house just to see her car was there. You know what I'm saying? Like, see, like for real. And I'm talking about, bro.
That in a weird, creepy.
That would creep in a motherfucker. I would never do that again ever in my life.
But really, that's love, though.
Damn, that was hard.
I mean,
That was heartbreak.
either way you want to look at it, but at the end of the day, love is not always beautiful and pretty and packaged perfectly.
That shit was ugly.
Huh?
I said, yeah, that shit was ugly. Hell yeah.
I mean, love can be ugly at times.
God damn.
You know?
I was that dude. I mean, I was that.
Because guess what? If you weren't loving so hard,
I was.
would you have been driving by? No, I'm saying if you weren't
Yeah.
loving, would you have been driving by to check on her car? Would you have been showing up with flowers? Would you have been blowing up her phone?
Yeah, right.
I mean, no. No, you wouldn't have.
Wouldn't. No, wouldn't have.
But what made you do that is love.
Mm-hmm. Crazy love.
Crazy love. Love is crazy
Yeah,
sometimes.
it
You
is,
mean that
man.
with me.
I was
You
like,
mean it.
I mean, and then I,
But
yep, and Kim made me see myself.
do not get into the second topic yet. We're not finished with depression.
Right. Not at all. That was,
But
I was depressed, and I remember somebody at work was looking at me, and they was having a conversation with me, and I was just so depressed. I was just saying, I don't remember what I was saying, and I remember they had told somebody else to come talk to me outside, because they was like, man, I think he gonna try to kill himself.
damn.
I wasn't, but
But I mean, you never actually had like suicidal thoughts, did you?
nah, hell nah.
Okay.
Uh-uh.
Well, I mean, at least you had your sanity. You might have been depressed and hurting, but you had your sanity, so that's a good thing.
Hold on, so we got a caller calling in. Hold on, a caller calling in. Hold on. Hey, this is the Jesse Morgan podcast show. What's up?
What's going on, man?
How you doing?
Good. You guys still talking?
Yeah, we also talk. I'm gonna merge you in right now. Here you go. Mark?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Caller?
Hey, man.
Hey, how you doing? There you
Good,
go.
man.
How you doing? So, yes, Nick.
What's going on, man?
What's going on? This is my former well, he's my friend, but he's also my former coworker at Freeman, Nick Gambino, to the show.
Oh, wow. Shout out to Nick. Shout out to me calling in on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, I'm just now finishing up work, so I figured I'd call in. I promised you I would once I got a hold of you.
Yeah, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did, sir. He listened to the show, Mark.
And where are you calling from?
Detroit.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, you're covering some pretty heavy topics tonight, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is the goal. You know, just trying to.
Jesse was telling us about how he got through different times in his life dealing with depression. As far as with women in relationships and, with this pandemic going on and just different times throughout his life.
What was the depression like for you, Jesse? Like, I know you guys already touched on how everyone goes through it different.
No, you fine. Yeah.
Like, what was it? What was it like? Like, if you could pick out like one thing that you remember most about that time period, what was the feeling like?
It felt honestly, honestly, God, truth, and it's probably like a cliche, but it was never it was never sunny around me.
Man.
Even and remember I live in Texas, y'all. Y'all know I live in Texas. I live in Dallas, Texas. It was never sunny, and my neck was so heavy because my head was down so much.
Wow.
I've tried to explain that to so many different people when I went through my bout, and the only thing I could say is everything just looked gray.
Mm-hmm.
Like you feel gray.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel a color. You felt gray.
And I didn't even know that. Mm-hmm. That's the truth. It was just never sunny. It was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so hard to explain too. It's one of those things where
Mm-hmm.
you just feel gray, and things that you used to love, you have no interest in.
Right. It becomes numb. It's like it's everything. And whatever that thing that you think that is gonna make you feel take it away, or whatever the case may be, or whatever you do, or whatever you don't, or you just in your head. That shit don't work.
Yeah, the other thing I remember is like your bed. Your bed was like a gravity pull. Like
Mm-hmm.
an act of God to get you out of bed. But when night came, you were scared to go to sleep.
Yeah. Then when them demons come out.
Oh,
Then when them demons come out.
yeah.
It when the demons come out, I'm telling you, cause like I can, cause I would just hear and like and sit in my apartment by myself in the bed in my room all day with the phone by my ear. You know what I'm saying? Hoping that she will respond to one of my texts that one of my 30 texts that I sent that day. And that's the only light,
Wow.
and that's the only light I had in the whole house.
Now, Nick, if you don't mind me asking, uh, when you were dealing with depression, did it have to do with like a female relationship, or maybe the loss of a loved one, or something like that?
All at once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in 2016, my dad passed away rather suddenly while I was taking care of him.
Sorry to hear that.
And about 4 months after that, I lost my best friend in a motorcycle accident. And then, and about 5 months after that, my fiance left me.
Oh, wow. And how long had y'all been together?
10 years.
Oof. So we're talking, yeah.
Wow.
And so, how did you feel like betrayed because you felt like she knew what had just happened to you, losing your friend and your father, and you felt like she should have been there to support you during that?
No, I didn't. That was like one of the main back burner things. Like I never really cared about that as much as I cared more about getting over the loss of my dad.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the overarching thing. Like everything
Yeah.
else just kept on piling on, and like I'm like, all right, I'll chip away at this mountain day at a day. So like by the time I got over losing my dad, like the other stuff was easy to get through.
Okay, so I guess what you're saying is if that was such a huge loss that you were just kind of numb, so like when that happened, you were just like, oh, okay, something else to add to it.
Yep. Like when it rains, it pours. But back then, I say back then, it was like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back on it, like to say it was numb, it degrades the word numb. Like it's something. It's something else in its entirety.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
Like to say you're numb is to say that you feel an absence of feeling.
You know what the word is? You know what the word is, Nick?
What's that?
Hopelessness. You lost hope.
Yeah, it was a little bit of.
That's how.
It was just.
That's what it is, man. That's what it felt for me. I just lost all hope, man. That feeling of, I don't know if anybody lost that feeling of like all hope. That's what it was for me.
I explain it like explaining to a blind man what it's like to lose the sense of sight. Now, you don't really like the blind man doesn't really understand, and you don't really understand how to explain it to him. Like, this is a really important thing that the fact that I've lost it, it's not a big deal, but the blind man doesn't know that, So no matter how hard you try to explain it, it's never going to come out right.
Right.
And that's kind of like where I felt like, how are you feeling, Nick? Like, how are you getting through this? Like, I don't know.
Right. I really don't know. Right. I really don't know.
I can't tell you how I felt back then. I can't tell you how I felt back then now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you took care of it a very constructive way, Jesse. Like, I got to say, I went the opposite way. I turned to the bottle, and I think there was probably maybe a year and a half, 2 years straight there where I was hammered every single night just to fall asleep.
Fuck.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta ask, did, as far as with your ex fiance, was it a surprise to you, or was it something that like maybe because you said 10 years is a long time, so were like were the last couple years kind of rocky, or just out of nowhere you were blindsided?
I think that my depression had a toll, and it was something that no one really knows how to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
in that particular situation, it seemed to be just very, very one-sided. So, I mean, all in all, looking back, it's good riddance, you know.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I think in that scenario, a more compassionate person probably would have stuck around.
Right.
But looking back on it, you know, when I got depressed like that, I just bottled a lot of things up. I didn't really talk. I was just kind of like a shell of a person.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's difficult to talk about by looking back on it because there's so much that your own body and your own mind kind of strip away from you.
Yep. Yep. That is true. Damn.
So I have a relationship question. Because we here on the podcast we learn from our guests as well. You know, we have questions. So as far as relationships go, do you feel now? You're talking like 4 years later, if I'm correct. So do you feel now that after you know getting out of that 10-year relationship and calling off the engagement, has that changed the way you deal with women or approach women or relationships for the rest of your life, you think? Has it changed you?
I mean, it's a loaded question. You should always be looking to better yourself, and you should never look at change as something bad. I mean, of course, you're going to grow, you're going to learn from your past. As far as like how I deal with women going forward, no, not at all. I mean,
Don't be jaded. Right?
I mean, like,
you never know.
Keep it moving.
I didn't date for 2 years after all of that happened, so.
Okay.
But that was more because it would be unfair to anyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh my God. I tell people because I be like, if I'm not right, I'm just putting out bad product. And I just say, I told myself, I got to get right.
Yeah, exactly. And
So.
that wasn't even a focus back then.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've been up here in Michigan now for 2 years. And I think I waited about a year after my dad had passed to make the decision to move back up to Michigan and like work through his house and work through myself.
Yeah, I've been seeing the project. Beautiful, man. I'm proud of you, man. 100.
Thanks.
Hell yeah. That's it. Hell yeah.
So like I've taken this time up here in Michigan while I'm rebuilding this house, kind of like rebuilding my life, you know.
Yep. I kind of see that.
So I wouldn't say that it's changed me as a person. I still think that I'm the same person I was, 10 years ago. But obviously you're going to grow from it, and
Hopefully.
I don't think that I'd look at relationships differently. If anything, I feel like I'm more prepared for anything that I might encounter after this.
Yep.
You get through it a little bit stronger, and that's now your baseline. That's your base for what you consider the worst time in your life, and something that you might go through in the future that's really, really bad that someone else might not be able to handle. You can compare it to like, oh well, I lost my arm, but it's not as bad as like losing my friend, my dad, and 10 years of my life.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. True that.
I've never got stung by a bee before, and I'm terrified of it, but I get stung all the time. Like, oh, it's nothing.
It hurt. It hurts.
Message. Y'all picking up jewels out there.
It hurts. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Yeah. So more. I mean, so Nick, so what are you doing? So you working mobily? What you doing? What's going on in your
I'm
life?
still with Freeman. Unfortunately, I was one of the few that was kept on.
Oh, don't say unfortunately, cause you got it.
No, it's
Don't say unfortunately. You got something. I mean, of course. I mean, yeah. I know what you do. You know how you do it. So you good. I figured that. I'm not surprised by that.
I'm not gonna say and sit here and play the woe is me survivor's guilt thing because the
Please don't.
survivor's guilt's real, man. Like
Right.
after that talk that BPH did where he told us everyone's getting laid off, like holy crap, I had to take the rest of the day off because it, it, it was a shock to me because back then we were all working under the premise that we were creating something that gave our team and the people that we've worked together with for the past 10 years something to come back to. Like we were keeping the lights on, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
And after that discussion, it was like, all right, now what? What are we working towards?
Right.
So I'm thankful that I'm thankful that I was selected to take on these projects that I didn't know that I was going to be able to do, and I'm glad that people saw it in me. But
Yep.
in the same sense, like working with this outrageously increased workload is so unbelievably trying on both my psyche and my physical health. Because man, I'm since March I've been working 100 straight hours every week, nonstop with no breaks. And I'm doing it at a reduced pay on salary. So like no matter how much I work, I still make the same. So I'm working 10 times as much for less pay, and there's no end in sight.
Yeah, them numbers don't add up.
So that's why I say unfortunately. Like I still have in my mind that come December we have live events and we can go back to like a shattered sense of normal, what it used to be.
Right. Say that
As,
again.
as it is right now, it's just disheartening because
Yeah, it is.
before you work your butt off and you can get a raise, or you work your butt off and it's going to go towards a bonus, or you have the possibility for advancement. Now there's no incentive.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing and why are we doing it?
Right. So like you just holding on to something.
And I think a lot of reason I'm still with the company is because I'm so damn stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
And I left a job in the oil field making stupid amounts of money to work for Freeman, and I just kind of made Freeman my career, and I didn't expect anything like this to ever happen. And I didn't expect myself to be faced with so many like philosophical questions that I have of my own, like why me? Like why am I here when so many other people are more qualified at that point? So it's unbelievably draining just for me.
Sure. For a lot of folks, that's not even for sure for a lot of folks. There's some people don't even want to talk to some people because they feel bad because it's some people that don't even want to talk to people because they feel bad. You know what I'm saying? They feel bad because they still there and they not. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, I know. Trust me, I know.
And that's not where I want to come from at all. Like,
Oh, I know.
I want to like keep these strong relationships that I have through
Right.
the industry. And
Some people can't handle that.
who's the other gentleman that's here on the podcast with us? Is Mark?
Mm-hmm. Mark 2.5.
I don't know.
Yes, Mark Flores. I met Jesse at Freeman in 2010, and I probably worked there about 4 years. I was doing, I started, on the dot, doing all the inbound, outbound stuff, and then I went to, they sent me to the screens department. That's where I met Jesse. He was wiping down all the screens, doing that manual labor, and he became, he was the only guy in the screen section, so he needed an assistant. So, they had me work for the black man, of course. Shout out Jesse. And he worked,
Okay.
I learned how to do it. Then he moved on, and then I trained someone else, and I had an assistant, so it worked out. But I went from cleaning screens, and then my last 2 years, I was doing QC department, quality control.
Okay, Mark.
What's that?
I think I remember you. Did you used to vape?
No.
No. No.
I'm trying to place your face because
I had a couple seizures there. I don't know if that'll help. They called the ambulance a couple times. Yeah. So were you, before Detroit, you said you've been there 2 years, you were over here in Dallas?
Yeah, I was there at the Adler branch. I still have a cube there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we, like I said, I was there just from 2010 to 2014, and I was in quality control. I was under it was like Tim Grant or something like that. So
Yeah.
but yeah, who got me in was my sister-in-law. She's the one who knows everybody. I don't know if you know Dina.
Oh, everybody, he know Dina. Everybody know Dina.
To my brother.
Okay.
Yeah, so Dina worked there.
Is your family related to Ron Benavides?
Yeah. That's
I don't.
because Dina's last name before she got married to my brother was Benavides. That's her last name. Her maiden.
Well, I was curious if you were related to the Purple Heart winner, Ron Benavides. He's got an incredible write-up.
Oh, I think I was Roy. Yeah, Roy Benavides. Yeah, I heard about that. He was. Did they do? I mean, he has a crazy story.
Oh, his story is incredible. He not only did he get a Purple Heart, but he got the Medal of Honor. He's like one of
pretty much
300.
If Rambo was a real person, it would have been him.
Yeah.
Like, he literally saved these, like, 10 lives, and, yeah, it was pretty incredible, his story.
Yeah, crazy story.
Yeah, but, so, what we're saying. So, yeah, that's how I met Jesse back in 2010.
Yeah, I think I met Jesse in 2014 at the Dallas branch, or at the Davis office.
Okay.
Yeah, you were fixing cases.
Yeah, I was. I was fixing cases. I was. I didn't know what I was doing.
And I remember when Jesse got the job doing IC on show site. He was the equipment guy. I remember you going, "Oh yeah, I'm on PCMA," and I just go, "Good luck."
Good luck. I was like, what the fuck that mean? And in my head, I was like, what? And I looked. I said, bro, what that mean? And he just looked at me. He walked off. And walked off, and didn't look back. I mean, that was cold. So that kind of shook me because that was my first, that was my first equipment job, and so that was like my second show out. Like, so I didn't know what was coming in. I didn't know what to expect. Oh my God! Like, to my baptism of fire, that is the definition of it, man. Jesus.
Yeah, you got through it real well, man.
I did.
Yeah, that was PCMA is a rough one every year, right?
Yeah.
For 5 years.
Yeah, I was running around.
So I was going to ask you, so Nick, how do you compare living over there, Detroit, and living over here in Texas?
Well, there's no comparison.
So just completely opposite.
It's hard to really explain it. Detroit's still like. Do you mean like as far as like people or the area? Like, what do you want to know?
Oh, like the specific. Well, I guess like, is it a city like Dallas that's thriving, or because is it like a city that is struggling?
So you have to take a couple things into account with Detroit. You have to look at some of its history. Detroit was built as an automotive manufacturing town.
Mm-hmm.
So back when automobiles first started coming out, like Detroit was its epicenter. All the manufacturing came from here, and the city built around manufacturing infrastructure. Whereas with Dallas was built with business in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So they built the city first, and then the suburbs came later.
Yep.
So when you have something that's the opposite of that, you lose a lot of forethought.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no mass transit. You have to drive down there or you take the bus system. The buses are always broken. In addition to that, you still have like the residual. They refer to it as like urban crawl, but it's essentially comparing the two from when I first moved to when I left and then came back. There's still some segmented racism that exists throughout all of the city, and it's not just a black and white thing. It's black, white, Mexican, Indian, Arabic. Like everything is so unbelievably segregated, and you're 100% judged not only by your skin color, but the language you speak, how you speak it, if you're a man, if you're a woman, and it's just institutionalized over here. It's depressing.
Damn.
Yeah,
That's not funny.
That's kind of what I was asking. Like, it seems like that's what people portrayed as like depressing. You know what I mean? Like there was once opportunity there, but it's left along with whatever else. Because like my dad worked for General Motors, but over here in Arlington, and we have one over there in Michigan as well. And
Headquarters.
oh yeah, the headquarters was over there, and then over here in Arlington there was a big plant too. And my dad retired from there. He was like 35 years working there, so I kind of know a little bit about the history of both. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. It seems like like you said, depressing. But also wanted to know. I don't know if you're into it, but I wanted to know because I'm into the art scene over here in Dallas, and it's thriving. So I was wondering, is there a lot of art over there?
So, because of the depressing nature of Detroit
Mm-hmm.
and how we go through seemingly like 8 months of winter,
Mm-hmm.
people find other ways to express themselves and to make sure they get out of this seasonal depression that we all have. And that's one of the really cool things that I love so much about Michigan is the art community is so vast,
Mm-hmm.
so thriving, and it's art. It's art in so many different ways. It's art that brush to canvas all the way through music, through different types of installations. There's an area in Detroit called I think it's called the Hildebrandt Project, and there was a group of artists that went through like a small area in Detroit and just started painting and decorating houses. There's like one house that has like 20 or 30,000 hubcaps on it.
Wow.
And it's really, really cool to look at. In addition to that, like in the summertime when there's not COVID, each city has their own week that they dedicate to an art fair, where local artists can go and put their stuff up and sell it, and they block off the main street. They sell it right there in the middle of the street in tents, and they bring in like hot dog vendors and all sorts of stuff. It's really cool. In some of the different areas, like right outside of Detroit, they have something called Arts Beats and Eats, where it's music and it's art and it's food and it's nonstop. They're like 2 weeks, and everything's like the entry is free, and then obviously whatever you want to pay for everything else. But no, it's the community here as far as like art and culture is incredible, and it's the one thing that I wish Dallas mimicked more of, because I don't see it in the scale that I do here. My dad, before he passed, he was a painter, and I think he was a phenomenal artist. I've gone through hundreds of his paintings here, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with when I move back.
What style of painting did he have?
It varied as as he went through his life. Like he went through like still life phase, then he went through an abstract phase, and he went more into like an erotic phase. And then he started doing portraits, and then he started doing buildings, and near the end he just started doing like satirical things.
Nice.
Hmm. Nice. Hmm.
So
And
with the recent stuff going on, has there been a lot of like looting and rioting and stuff over there in the streets downtown?
You know, surprisingly enough, no. There has been a little bit of like, you know, protests, but the protests really haven't gotten out of control.
mhm.
It's kind of hard to explain. In certain areas, like the protests, they seem like they could get out of control, but the community is really strong. And when I mentioned the segregation, it's a double-edged sword there because there's areas within the city that if you're a certain color, you don't go. Like me being of a darker complexion, I can kind of pass by going through the west side because, you know, people think I'm Hispanic. But I would stay away
Yeah.
from like a lot of the stuff on the southwest side because I'm not black, and I just get destroyed.
Hey, I'm sitting right now outside enjoying the breeze in the west side, so you're always welcome, Nick. And you got to pass over here in the west side, but yeah, stay out the south side.
Yeah.
At night.
That's another thing that I noticed that I hated about Dallas is in Michigan, even when it's like 105, 110 degrees, there's always a cool breeze that's rolling through.
Mhm.
Whereas in Texas, it's like you are inside of a hairdryer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. Damn you, Nick.
But no, I'll be honest, even with its downfalls and even with the depressing nature of it, and even with, you know, 10 months of snow, Detroit will always have a piece in my heart, but I still can't wait to go back to Dallas.
Wow.
You were born and raised here in Texas.
Mm-mm.
No, I was born and raised in Detroit.
Oh, okay. So you just came here for a short time.
I was in Dallas for I think 8 years.
Mhm.
And I was in Odessa for a year and a half, 2 years.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Did a year and a half, 2 years in the oil field, paid off all my debt, and moved to Dallas.
I got some family over there in Saginaw, Michigan. I don't know how far that is from Detroit, but I know it's where
Quite a ways away. But no, the Saginaw's beautiful. I love the river there. It's wonderful.
Hmm.
they have their own slang. They would say like, "I'll be like, you want a Coke or something?" And they're like, "Oh, you need a pop?" And I'm like, "What do you mean a pop?" "Oh, a Coke." And they're like, "A pop." So
Yeah, I never really got in with the Michigan slang. I thought it was all kind of arrogant.
a little bit, yeah, I can see that now. I didn't think about it like that, but yeah, I see it.
Yeah, it's like calling everything a Kleenex. Well, it's a tissue, but okay.
That's funny.
Oh, I forgot. Jesse, I was going to ask about what you got exposed today on Facebook that you was throwing a tantrum because of some ice cream. Why don't you share with the listeners what happened to you today?
Okay. So what happened was I told my wife to go get some bomb pops, some regular bomb pop like the ones you get from the ice cream truck that we grew up from. I mean, it makes sense, right?
Like the blue ones, right?
Right? It makes sense. It's not hard. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. So
I guess she took it upon herself that they were sold out. They were sold out of the ones that the right ones, the ones that make sense, the ones you supposed to put in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I mean. So she picked some like Kroger brand, generic brand. I don't know what the fuck it was. You know what I'm saying? But
That was called Missile Pop.
right, what the fuck is that? What is a missile pop?
The Great Value Missile Pop.
I said bomb pop. I ain't said missile pop. So my thing is like if it's sold out in one store, go to another. You know what I'm saying? I said what I said. You know what I'm saying? I wanted bomb pops.
That's the other thing I noticed. You guys in Texas are so particular about your ice cream.
Mm-hmm. Bluebell, homemade vanilla. That's it. Anything else, trash to me. If it ain't Bluebell, I don't eat it. Don't give me no don't give me no ice cream if it ain't Bluebell. Why?
I like Bluebell. I was kind of surprised you guys don't have anything by Stroh's as far as ice cream.
Mm-mm.
Like Bluebell's in Texas, as does Stroh's is Michigan.
Okay. Okay. No, okay. Huh. So when you moving back to Dallas?
So if you've seen any of the updates that I've been posting on the Facebooks, I'm almost done with my dad's house.
Mhm.
Just finished redoing the front yard, and now I'm at this weird point where I have to get a city inspector come to inspect the house. But since we just opened up like 3 weeks ago, there's a backlog of inspections. So I just got to wait till they get through the backlog. And once the house gets inspected and passes, I'll be moving back. And I was going to be staying with Tom.
Oh, nice. Hello, Tom.
I don't know where I'm going to be staying. Like,
You say you was. What happened?
well, because Tom and Brett they live together, so I don't know if they had someone else move in because of the reduced pay, or I don't know what the situation is there. And then I know Matt Franklin, he has Rebel living with him now.
Get it how you live.
So I might have to end up just getting an apartment for like a 6-month lease, or do something short term so I can buy a house while I'm there.
Yeah, true. True. That makes sense. Look at you. Got the good credit. And
Hey man, that credit took a long time to build up.
tell me about it, bro. Tell me about it. I know it.
Took me a year and a half in the oil field, and probably about 20 years off my life.
Damn.
So what else is up on the schedule?
What's that?
So what else is on the schedule? I saw we saw.
Oh yeah,
Russia.
that's what I was gonna ask you. So I am 32. I believe Jesse is like 37. If you don't mind me asking, how old are you? Are you in the 30s or?
Yeah, I'm 36.
Okay, so 36 and no children, correct?
No children.
Okay, so me and you, and that's why I'm asking you, because we learn from y'all just like the listeners learn from us. So this is something I want to know as a 32-year-old. I am single, no kids, and even you, as you said, 36, I believe, right? Okay, so as a 36-year-old, you're probably more at the point where have you consciously made a decision that it's not for you, you're not going to have that, or do you still have that like hope that you'll find the right woman, have kids, settle down, all that?
Oh, of course. I'm not going to force it, but of course I have that in my mind. I've always wanted to have kids, always wanted to have that family. So that's something that's in my mind, but it's always been one of those things where I want to make sure that when the time's right, I can have kids. I don't want to do it when I'm not in a position where I can support a kid, because I want to make sure that that kid has had every opportunity that I didn't have growing up. So if it means being financially stable, making sure I have a backup plan, and making sure that I can work a job where I can dedicate time to the child, then that's what I want. And until I get to that point, that's not going to be what my focus is.
Mm-hmm.
There's prior to working in the oil field, prior for working for Freeman, I worked at Best Buy for almost 10 years. And we had this guy, his name was Robert Stevens. He was the one that started the Geek Squad when he was like 18, and then he had Best Buy acquire them. And he was super smart. And I remember I was at a roundtable discussion with him, and he posed a question, and I applied this question to my life ever since I heard it. He said, imagine the market and business and your life 10 years from now.
Okay.
And imagine where you want to be. And then in this timeline that you're imagining, from that 10-year period, go back 5 years and have yourself tell yourself currently what you should have done to do it better.
Oh, I hope y'all listening out there. Next up is some science tonight. Wow.
So that's what I've always tried to imagine. Like, where do I want to see myself in 10 years? And what would I need to do to make 5 years from now on par with where I need to be 10 years from now?
Right. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought about it like that. That's a good question, though. That's like soul searching.
And I went from like working a job where I blew it all on booze and random toys, living paycheck to paycheck, to, all right, well, if I want to get where I need to be in 5 years, I need to not be in Michigan. So I moved. And then once I actually got to Dallas is when I started on track with that 5-year plan.
And when you moved initially, what drew you to Dallas?
Well, initially I had moved from Michigan because I was sick of everything here, and I was sick of being depressed, and sick of the segregation, and how Michigan just like so set in the past, and they don't want to move forward. And I knew that oil was booming at the time, and I looked at that as an opportunity to quickly and easily get rid of all my debt, my student loans and everything. So I said, if I can work it for a year and pay everything down, and then just see where things go from there. And I did. And I started getting neuropathy in my shoulders where like the nerves were dying. And up here in Michigan, I worked with a good friend. His name's Tom Gutowski. And Tom had gotten a job in Dallas working for Freeman. It's like, hey, work for this company. I think you'd be a good fit. We worked together before. I might want to give him a try. I'm like, oh, all right. Well, he got me an interview, and I had to quit my job at the oil field because it was at the beginning of the week and I'd missed the safety meeting. So I quit my job, drove the 5 hours from Odessa to Dallas, took my interview, drove 5 hours back, and just started packing up from the house I was in. And
Wow.
didn't know what was going to happen from it. I ended up staying with a friend's aunt in Dallas while waiting to hear back from my boss at the time. And after like 2 weeks, I got the job. Like it was a leap of faith, and it worked out for me.
Nice. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yep. I was just determined. And if things didn't work out with Freeman, I'm sure I would have found something. I get really, really one track and tunnel vision when I set my mind to something.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of setting your mind to something, kind of venturing away from work, like, is there anything in your life that you were super, like, passionate about? Not like that you wanted to do as an occupation, or maybe you did, but it's something, it could be artistic, music, art, skateboard, like something, that you were really passionate about doing.
Yeah. For me, it changes every couple of months.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for knowledge. Like I like to learn as much as I can about any topic, anything. So, the last thing I worked on when I was in Dallas is I wanted to learn how to knit, and I spent 2 or 3 months learning to knit. I made like 10, 15 scarves, made like a bunch of blankets, and I'm like, all right, that was fun. Just here in Michigan, I've learned a ton. I've learned random different construction things. Just this past month, I've learned how to cultivate a lawn and go from having like the ugliest lawn on the block to having like the nicest.
Okay.
I mean,
What about if you go back like high school, teenage years, anything back then or right out of high school, college, stuff like that? That
Oh,
you
yeah.
were really...
you know, for me, it went from like cars, like learning to rebuild engines, swap engines, to oh man, there's so much. Like I did custom computer manufacturing or custom computer modifying and building cases, and like it's always been something that involved like working with my hands.
Yeah.
I did a lot. I at one point I did like a movie prop replica of the Frank the Bunny mask from Donnie Darko.
Oh, nice.
I try to find something that I want to do, and I try to learn as much about it as I can, and then see how I can apply it.
Now, I don't know if I remember correctly, but maybe you can help me. So, it was Donnie Darko, I believe. It was specially shot, half like real and half, was it cartoon or what was it? Like,
No, Donnie Darko was Jake Gyllenhaal and Maggie Gyllenhaal. I think Seth Rogen was even in it. And it was kind of like a twisted story of time.
okay. Okay, I think I know which one you're talking about. I don't know why, but in my head I was thinking like a Dick Tracy or Roger Rabbit type, like where it's half and half. That might have been something else, though.
I think you're thinking of A Scanner Darkly.
Yes, I think that's it. I think that's the one.
Yeah, that one was about lucid dreaming.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Speaking of passionate, like for the past couple years, I've been very passionately trying to, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but I've been trying to astral project. Like,
Really?
have you heard about that or no?
I have. I mean, I kind of consider things like that to be...
What did you say? Because I never heard of that.
Satanic. Nah.
I consider that kind of like a meta science. It's a science that really doesn't have a lot of information behind it. So
Okay, what?
it's kind of hard to study something like that just because everyone has like different techniques of doing it. You have to be in a certain mindset, and something like that. My mind is always racing like so much on so many different
me
things.
too.
I can never put my mind into a spot of zen where like I clear things out.
Mm-hmm.
But
And when I was trying to read up on it, like one of the things that they were talking about is you have to find a way to like take control of your dreams, where you're able to find different cues where you can tell yourself like you're in a dream, and like that's part of it, and then you work back from there. So you're able to figure out what point you are in the sleep cycle before you actually fall asleep, and I could never get to it.
And who does
You
that?
know,
what's that, Jess?
Mark, you do that?
Well, you know, I've tried, but I've never been successful, and it's one of those things that, I mean,
So what you
some
do?
people get it right away, some people takes them long, and some people never get it at all.
So what you trying to do? Catch? So what you?
Huh?
So what you trying to do? Catch up with your dreams? I mean, what do you do?
No, okay, let me break it down for you in a very simple form. Basically, you are, it's like you go into a state of sleep, but you're still conscious, but your physical body is resting. You fell asleep, but your mind is still conscious. So basically, you come outside of your body. That's why it's called astral projection, because you can travel. So it's like you come outside of your body, and let's say you can be floating or traveling. You could be, let's say, at the ceiling, and you could be looking at your own body laying there.
What?
You know? Yeah, it's pretty interesting. But like he said,
What?
the whole, like Nick said, the whole things like that are just kind of he say, she say for like critical thinkers who need evidence and
Are you saying yourself?
People, they need proof. They can't just go by what other people say. This is what I experienced. So I do understand that part of it.
And you want to do that?
I've tried. I've been trying, yeah, but I have not been successful.
Why you want to do that?
I think it's interesting. Basically you're going to the fourth dimension. You know, there's like different dimensions, and
Okay.
you're traveling outside of your body.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Just one of the many different things that I've found interesting and been interested in.
Okay.
What about you, Jesse? What have you been passionate about over the years?
Just helping people. Loving people.
What's that?
Helping people.
Helping people.
Trying to figure a way to help people. Save people. Love people.
That's
I remember,
beautiful.
if I remember right, Jesse, you were making music there for a bit, weren't you?
Mm-hmm.
You still making anything?
Yeah, I mean, not now. I need to get back. I think that's what's missing. I think that was missing because I feel like it's like one or two pieces that's missing. That, you know what I'm saying? That make me like whole. And I think music is one of them. I think I need to get back to my passion, doing what I love to do. Because then I'm not working. I'm just floating.
And you ever talk with Brett at all about making music? Brett Gaddy?
I ain't never met him. I think I heard of the name.
He worked up there at the Adler office forever. He's into all those little music making tools and like he does video editing. But I was on a YouTube rabbit hole that I fell into one month.
Uh-oh.
And like I got to one of these YouTubers that does like music making, and I can't remember his name. I could probably find it. It's like Andrew Yang, I think his name is.
Oh yeah, the Yang Gang. Shout out to the Yang Gang.
Yeah. And he was doing a review of the OP1. That thing is awesome. Like it's a little like it's about the size of a small, tiny keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
But the amount of things that he was able to do on it, the sample on it, that thing was incredible. Like I almost wanted to buy one. I'm trying to think, like, if I buy one of these, I'm never going to use it. I don't have the chops to be able to make music like this dude. Mm-hmm. And then I was talking with Brett. He's like, "Oh yeah, I got that one. And I got this one." I'm like, "Man, these things like $1,700."
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it's just something I'm into. I'm like, "Man, that's an expensive hobby."
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
Costs a lot of money to make good music.
Andrew was running for president.
Was he
If
really?
I'm not. Yeah, I believe so.
Who?
That can't be the right guy.
Yeah, I was about to say, once I finished hearing the story, I was like, no. But there's a dude named Andrew Yang that was running for president, and his whole, he was a super, super smart tech guy. So his whole thing was he wanted to give everybody $1,000 a month. So that was what his platform was.
All right, let me look up this dude.
How did that even work? What the hell? How did it work?
Yeah, I think you might have the wrong, because, I mean, you probably heard Andrew Yang so much because he was a candidate. So maybe he's got the last name.
Nope, the name is the exact same. It's Andrew Yang.
Really? No way.
But it's spelled Huang.
Oh, okay. Got you. Okay. That's about because Andrew Yang is Yang. That's
This
why
guy's
Yang Gang. Asian dude. Yang Gang 2020.
I ain't never heard of him.
Yeah, Jesse's not really into politics.
Mm-hmm.
We don't.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's pronounced Andrew Wong.
Oh, okay. Andrew Wong. Got you.
You don't know what I'm into, Mark.
The listeners know what you're into. At least what you were into in your 20s.
Wow.
Man, say. So I was gonna ask Nick, what do you think about how social media plays a role in our society in 2020? Like how it affects us? Is it does more bad things come from it or good things? And also, how do you think it affects us, like in relationships and stuff like that?
I mean, it's like a drug, man. Just like anything, there's good sides to it, there's bad sides to it. But if you use it, you use it for the wrong way, then yeah, it's going to influence you in different ways.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
I mean, the same can be said for politics. The same can be said for religion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It depends on how you use it. And I think that it's really crappy that our data is being used in a way to shape our opinions. I think that's kind of crappy.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy with the advertising now, and like you'll just. It seems like you almost just think about something, and then you get on social media, and it pops up an advertisement of what you were thinking about or what you were typing and something. You know what I mean? Like, it's so weird. It's like they're watching you.
I mean, we're at a really weird point in technology where everything's being quantified. We're being tracked on our phones, your Google searches. So many things that we thought were originally free. We're just at this weird crossroad where everything we do is being incentivized and sold to different companies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think that politics is such a touchy subject, but it's became so mainstream in all of our lives because of the way these different companies have found to ingrain themselves in social media using our own metrics. Because I look back when I was younger, I don't remember anything about like the Bush elections.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't remember much about the Obama elections. Like right now, I could not tell you who Obama was running against or who was even present during the debates with Obama. Couldn't even tell you, looking back on it. But I can tell you at least 3 people that I remember from the Hillary-Trump debates.
Right.
And I think it's become such a weird mockery.
Mm-hmm.
And it's made me kind of hate politics even more than what I used to because it's so arbitrary. Like I find it hard to believe that in a nation where we have how many people we have here? Like 300 million.
Mm-hmm.
A nation where we have 300 million people, we are expected to vote on one person across 2 different platforms. I mean, that's dumb. Like there's no way.
The two-party system.
There's no way. There's no way that everyone's interests can be put into 2 columns.
Mm.
Right.
Mm.
Not to mention, if you notice, it's like there's like 20 people to choose from. Like this last Republican election, there was like 20 candidates on stage.
I think that we would have way better luck if we just have the computer, like that computer that was on Jeopardy, Watson. Have Watson run the country for like 4 years. How difficult can it be?
Right.
Like, give it to an algorithm. Give the algorithm some ethics. Let's see where we go. It's got to be better than what we are now.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. Damn.
Shout out to Alex Trebek, recovering from cancer, man. Good dude. Um, I like watching those. They would bring back like the people who would win for like the most wins ever. That dude Ken and like the smartest people. They'd go against each other. I always wondered. So how do they just? Do they tell them what to study? Like their topics they're gonna go over? Like how do they just know random stuff? There's no way they have to tell them this is what we're gonna study. Or what do you think?
Well, I think the dude that you were talking about, he was a software engineer or developer.
Yeah.
He just did a lot of reading, just about a bunch of random different topics. And he just had his been trained for it.
Wow.
You know, it's like you guys were talking earlier. You were talking about different albums, and to me, a lot of that was foreign because that's not anything that I was ever exposed to. So I couldn't really tell you.
Great.
Take someone else. I'm like, I don't think so. Like, especially not when you started bringing. Did you bring in like you said, Yeezy versus Dre?
Was that somewhat versus Dre?
You said Yeezy versus Dre.
Oh, it was Young Jeezy versus Lil Wayne.
Oh, Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Lil Wayne. I don't know Young Yeezy.
Yeah. Which is an interesting point. What did you grow up listening to, and do you still listen to that, or did your music change over the years, or like I don't know, who were you influenced by musically?
I didn't really grow up listening to anything when I was a kid. My dad, when he passed, he was almost 80. So when I was growing up as a kid, Dad was like in his late 50s. So it's not like he never really listened to music. He'd listen to like talk radio, if anything. So
Right.
I didn't really discover music until like I was in high school, and I was kind of in that mindset that everyone is in high school, and I gravitated more towards punk, and I've only listened to punk primarily since then.
Okay.
But I like a lot of different types of music. It's just if I want to put something on on Spotify on a playlist, that's what I'm going to. But I go through weird phases. Like I found that I gravitate more towards like the Southern California rap. And, trying to think of some other things that were on my playlist.
What were like 3 of the punk bands would you say that you were listening to most? Or
Probably No Use for a Name, No Effects, Jimmy Reatard.
oh, okay. So were most of these like? Would you say they were like huge international bands, or more like underground type bands?
Well, the cadence of punk is that they should never ever go international. Like punk in general, everything's word of mouth. Like you got to go to like be part of the punk scene. Like, oh, have you heard these people? No, obviously I haven't.
Yeah,
but, like, let's hear them.
It's his own community. Like it's his own.
If you're like the Ramones or something, it's kind of hard to hide underground. Once you get to a certain level.
Well, I mean that's the Ramones. I don't consider the Ramones really punk.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I'm not
They're like
super familiar, but
yeah, they're like to me they're like British pop, and a lot of people yell at me for that. But the Ramones, the Sex Pistols, I don't consider punk. I think they were manufactured trash.
And it's weird how like mainstream will push them as punk, like Sex Pistols and stuff like that. Interesting. So did you ever get into the grunge?
Nope, never did.
No? Okay. Nice.
Yeah, grunge, you can't really call grunge a genre, because to me, grunge was just Nirvana, and it started and ended with Kurt Cobain.
That's how a lot of people feel. Yeah.
Now, there was a band in the early 90s that I think tried to like make a comeback with grunge. What was their name? Was it Silverchair?
Huh.
Yeah, I want to say it was Silverchair. And they had a few songs out that sounded very grungy, but
What about classic rock? Were you ever listening to a lot of classic rock?
Nope. I couldn't even tell you like some basic classic rock bands. Like I know of like Guns N' Roses and Led Zeppelin. I think those are considered classic rock. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Not Guns N' Roses. Really, it's 80s, but like 70s. You know, like Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, you were talking about, but you never got into actually like trying to play the guitar, or drums, or anything.
I was in band like throughout all of high school, and I could play a lot of things in the symphonic orchestra, but could never get into guitar. And I've owned a couple. I could never get into it. But percussion was my big one. I marched. I played the pit, and I think I did percussion for 3 or 4 years throughout all of high school.
Oh, okay. Nice.
But you know, guys, it is almost 2 a.m. here, and I have some early conference calls in the morning.
Okay. I hear you. Thank you for calling in, Nick. And this is Nick Gambino, everyone. Nick Gambino.
Hey, thanks for having me on. It was nice to hear from you, Jesse.
Yes,
Nice
sir.
talking with you, Mark.
Nice meeting you, Nick, and we really appreciate you listening and calling in. And anytime you want to have a talk, hit us up.
Yeah, hopefully next time you guys start this a little bit earlier.
We will.
Yeah, for sure. With the time difference, so
Yeah,
we'll
we
keep
will.
that in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. It was nice talking to y'all. Take care.
All right, thank you, brother.
All right, you have a good one.
Bye.
Yo.
What's going on, brother? How
So-
you living?
Yeah, so we about to end the podcast right now. Any last words you want to say to the beautiful fans, Mark?
Thank you to everybody out there listening. Thank you to Nick for calling in. And peace, love, and light. And yeah, that's it.
That's it for me. Man, I love y'all. I love you, Mark. And we'll talk to y'all next time. The Jesse Morgan Real Talk Show. We out. Ow!